Hello, I'm Dr. Lorraine Maita, the hormone harmonizer. And maybe you got here by taking a quiz or getting a blood test results and finding out that maybe one hormone is bothering you more than another or that you're hormonal. What I'm here to educate you on and let you know is that no hormone stands alone. All the hormones interact with each other. There's a symphony. So if you have high cortisol or low cortisol, it's going to affect your estrogen, your progesterone, your thyroid, your insulin, and vice versa. If you have fluctuating hormones or low hormones, it's a distress on the body and it's going to affect cortisol. And the reason why I talk a lot about cortisol is it's sort of the master hormone. It's the general. It's the hormone that influences all of the other hormones. So as you can see from this graph, that the hormones interact with each other. Everything starts as cholesterol, then it goes to pregnenolone, then it goes to progesterone, and then from there, it can go into many different directions. This is not exactly how it happens, but your body senses some kind of distress. So it's going to shift production to cortisol, which is state of emergency. You need cortisol to live. You need cortisol to fight or to flee or to fight infection or to decrease inflammation. So cortisol is going to take precedence over the other hormones, which cause rest, digest, reproduce, repair, rejuvenate. That's why cortisol is called the major ager. And how do you feel when your hormones are off? You feel tired. You're moody. You can't think. You can't concentrate. You start to gain weight, especially around the belly. What I'm here to say is that very likely it's cortisol, but it could also be one of the other hormones as well. Just think your brain is a giant antenna. It's taking in information from everywhere. So any kind of distress will set off a cortisol response. So distress could be physical, emotional, chemical, like pain, heat, cold, hot flashes, night sweats. It could be nutritional excess, nutritional deficiencies, hormone imbalances, toxins, infection, inflammation, you name it. Because what affects whatever your brain is going to pick up is going to affect your hormones. So one of the things I've always said is what you eat, what you drink, how much you sleep, how much you exercise, the stress you're under, and the toxins you're exposed to are going to affect your hormones. So I'd like to help you understand what affects your hormones so that you can balance them in a healthy and natural way, which is actually going to help your whole entire body. It's not just helping one hormone, it's helping all of the hormones. I mean, is this you? Is it? I know this is me. Bills, work, pleasure, people, tasks, to-do lists that go on and on and on. So some people just feel wired but tired because they're just running themselves ragged. So sometimes you crave salt, sometimes you gain weight, you can't sleep, you feel moody, the weight gain is generally around the belly, you're anxious, you're irritable. Maybe it's from not sleeping, but it could be from hormones fluctuating or hormone imbalances. So this is a sign, this is a clear sign. If you have any of these symptoms, perhaps your cortisol is high. But if you don't treat the cortisol, the reason why it's known as the major ager is look, cause everything to drag and sag. It breaks down collagen, so you start wrinkling. But it also breaks down muscles, so you could be weak and frail. It breaks down bone. You can get osteoporosis or osteopenia and easily fracture. It raises blood sugar. It raises cholesterol. It also raises blood pressure. So letting cortisol just go and run its course and getting higher and staying high is not a good thing because there are consequences to not treating it. And that's why I want to raise awareness so you know what, if you're feeling any of these things, this is something to think about. This is something to look for. And what about this? This is what I find in midlife. Now, for some people, midlife begins in their 30s. Most it's in the 40s, goes from, and perimenopause is just like PMS. And it can go on for 10 years before you ever become menopausal. And what do people have? The anxiety, the irritability, the poor sleep. Sound familiar? It could also be weight gain and fibroids, breast cysts. Estrogen's a hormone of energy and growth. So if you think of estrogen as a gas pedal and progesterone as the brake, estrogen high in relation to that progesterone is going to rev you up, but not in a good way. And that's what I say. Sometimes in midlife, women just snap, they get irritable, and they feel bad because they'll say something or do something that it's like, oh my God, did I just do that or say that? And they feel very guilty. People tiptoe around them because they wonder, what kind of mood is she in today? You can get fibroids, you can get heavy bleeding, irregular bleeding. But if you notice anxiety, irritability, impatience, insomnia, weight gain, all can be symptoms of cortisol as well as perimenopausal symptoms or PMS symptoms for that matter. So when you get your body in balance, it can affect all, it has a ripple effect, but in a good way. Here's the opposite extreme: exhausted, achy, dark circles under the eyes, cravings, weakness, so overwhelmed. Like you get infections all the time. It's some people have chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia or just feel flatline. I mean, they just feel like the plug has been pulled and they have absolutely no energy, no mental capacity, no ability to cope. They can't sleep. They're confused. They're overwhelmed. They're achy. Life does not seem very bright. And this could be symptoms of low cortisol. Not treating low cortisol can have its consequences. If you develop cancer, there's a poor outcome. More people with low cortisol develop autoimmune disorders like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, MS. Cortisol is a really important hormone that does a lot. It's in control. And they're more likely to develop chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, or frequent infections. So there's consequences of not treating cortisol. Menopause. Also, a lot of women say, I don't know, I'm tired, like somebody pulled the plug. Life went from vibrant technicolor to dull and gray, and I can't sleep, and I'm anxious, and I'm irritable, and I'm gaining weight. And I'm just, the difference is hot and sweaty. And believe it or not, hot flashes and hot and sweaty can also be from fluctuating cortisol. So the symptoms overlap. And that's why when I try to educate people about hormones, you can't really separate them out. Although I do, because some people say, I know it's my hormones, give me hormones. But what I'm here to raise your awareness that there are so many other things that are going to affect your hormones. So anybody who just wants to give you hormones and doesn't want to take care of the rest of the things is doing you a disservice. And that's why people are so confused. PMS, perimenopause, or same symptoms as high cortisol, and symptoms of menopause are sort of symptoms of low cortisol, low thyroid. So what is it? What is it? You can figure out, like I have a hormone quiz, what the most pressing hormone is for you. And the beauty of treating cortisol is that it's mostly lifestyle and supplements. And oftentimes, if you treat cortisol, the other hormones will fall into place. But there are some hormones that just definitely need other types of things to balance them. And I have many ways of helping you. One is to test, not guess. I do live master classes, I do live workshops where I offer tests so that you can interpret it and take the supplements and do what you need to do lifestyle wise to bring your hormones into better balance, because it's just not one thing. If you bake a cake and you leave out one ingredient, it's a flop. If you take care of one hormone without taking care of the things that affect it, you're only going to be back in the same spot. So I urge you to get a look, the whole functional medicine approach is to look at the root, look at the soil. Because if you have bad soil, meaning infections, inflammation, poor diet, lack of exercise, lack of sleep, poor genetics, poor digestion, your tree is not going to flourish. Your body and mind are not going to flourish. So take care of the root causes. And there are many courses that I have that help you understand what your root cause is, many assessments, because if you have any of these poor lifestyle habits, it can manifest not just in hormone imbalance, but high blood pressure, anxiety, heart disease, cancer, depression, thyroid disease, autoimmune disease, diabetes, chronic fatigue. So urge you to look for the root cause, and oftentimes you intuitively know it. However, I do have assessments, online courses that you can do yourself, find out for yourself. I run live master classes to help you be your own medical detective and make the changes that you need to flourish, as well as one-on-one nutrition and lifestyle coaches, group coaching, hormone balancing, a natural, holistic way, or one-on-one consultations with hormone replacement therapy if you need it. But there's so much that you can do. Hormones control you, but you control your hormones. So I urge you to learn about yourself, find your root cause, help yourself, because the rewards are fantastic. Dr. Lorraine from the Feel Good Again Institute.